Hello hunters, this is my Ibushi Grinder S Raw Switch Axe build. This build does a lot of damage and is great if you're looking to just have one Switch Axe build. Let's get into it. This does require some knowledge of the weapon, so if you're completely new, I suggest checking out a guide first. On Title Update 1, we can now craft the Polisher Pro Grinder S decoration. The decoration is made with Afflicted Dire Scales. They come from Afflicted Rathalos, Mizutsune, and Astalos. You can unlock these through Afflicted Investigations. The way this skill works is that if you sharpen your weapon and recover 2 levels of sharpness, we receive a 10% raw buff. This is massive and makes us do a ridiculous amount of damage when it is activated. In order to trigger Grinder S, we will be using the Ibushi Skyfall Switch Axe. The reason for this is that the Switch Axe has a small amount of purple sharpness and no white sharpness. So when we sharpen after hitting blue, this counts as 2 levels and triggers Grinder S. We combo this with the Protective Polish skill, which retains our sharpness for 60 seconds at level 2. This way we keep purple sharpness after receiving the buff. So at the start of hunt, you'll want to get your sharpness onto blue, and then sharpen up. Okay, so let's get to the build. I have a basic template for the build with no augments from Curious Crafting, as well as using a basic talisman. We use the Almudron helmet with the Attack Jewel 2 and Tenderizer Jewel 2, the Archfiend Armor Baulo, Polisher Pro Jewel 3, Quickswitch 2, and the Malzeno braces, and Jumping Jewel 4. For our waist, we have the Anjanath Coil with a Sharp Jewel 4 and 2 Grinder Jewels. For our legs, we have Malzeno Greaves with an Enhancer Jewel 4, a Grinder Jewel 1, and a Spiribirds Call Jewel 1, but that last one slot can be whatever you want. For the talisman, you just need to have a talisman with a level 3 slot and a level 2 slot. If you have one like this that has better skills, then they'll be even better for you. So altogether, for the relevant skills, you have Attack Boost 7, Weakness Exploit 3, Power Prolonger 3, Speed Sharpening 3, Rapid Morph 3, Protective Polish 2, Evade Extender 2, 2 points in Grinder S, 1 point in Wirebug Whisper, and 1 Chain Crit. So this does have the drawback of 1 Wirebug Whisper. If you feel you don't need Evade Extender, you can switch this for a Wirebug 4, but I really recommend Evade Extender for Switch Axe. So for weapon augments, I recommend getting the Rampage slot upgrade for the Skyfall Switch Axe. This is because we want to put in the Phial Switch Boost decoration. This decoration on Power Phial increases our morph attacks by 10% for sword and 15% for axe, as well as increase the amount of gauge that we get back for our sword mode for axe morph attacks. When this stacks up with hitting a crit and rapid morph, and our sharpness and the Grinder S, our morph attacks end up doing a ridiculous amount of damage. So this is my build after augments. There's only a couple things that I would recommend to try to go for your augments that are probably pretty important. Try to get a level 3 upgrade on the Anjanath Coil or the Almudron helmet. I was able to get my 1 slot to become a 3 slot and put the Polisher Pro there so that it lasts 90 seconds instead of 60 seconds. You might notice that I have Protective Polish still at level 2. There's a pretty good reason for that. At level 3, Grinder S lasts 90 seconds, and at level 2, Protective Polish lasts 60 seconds. So what this does is that it gives us a 30-second window to be able to drop our sharpness back into blue, so that by the time Grinder wears off, we can reapply it and get the buff back up again. It even allows us to put the buff up early. If you happen to get 2 blue sharpness before the 30 seconds, you can just sharpen and get right back to it. So extra skills that you might want to look for when you're doing your augments would be try to get your Wirebug Whisperer up to 3 so you can have that recovery rate for your elemental burst counters. I would say if you get chain crit, that's great. That will really improve our damage. I like crit boost, I just like seeing that big number, but honestly just go for any kind of skill that's going to increase your raw damage. I hope you liked this build or found it helpful. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. I plan to continue to make more build videos in the future. I'll leave some gameplay here if you're interested. I'll say I'm not a speedrunner and I get it all the time. Hope to see you in the next video. Take care.
いつでも爆破できるぜ。通りだ。逃がしゃしねえよ。